Have you ever wondered if you could add not just more years to your life, but more life to your years? Well, today, we are going to decode the secrets of longevity. And we're not talking about fads or quick fixes here. We're digging into the real science and the timeless wisdom of people who've already mastered the art of living well past 100.
So let's start with the biggest question of all. Is making it to 100 just a roll of the genetic dice? I mean, for a long time, that's pretty much what we all thought. But it turns out the answer is not what you'd expect. And it was a really incredible study on twins that finally gave us the truth.
You know that famous Danish twin study? It found that our genes, they're only responsible for about 20% of how long we live. That's it. Just 1/5 of the story is actually written for us by our DNA.
Which means a whopping 80% is up to us. It's dictated by our lifestyle and our environment. That is incredibly empowering, right? It means the power to influence our lifespan is, for the most part, in our own hands.
So with that powerful idea in mind, we've gone and distilled decades of research, everything from huge population studies to the daily habits of people who live to be 100, into a simple 4-part framework that we're calling the Longevity Blueprint.
Okay, let's dive right into the first pillar of our blueprint, how we fuel our bodies. And listen, this is about so much more than just counting calories. It's about giving your body the right information at the right time. A huge part of this is fighting chronic inflammation. You know, that low-grade fire inside our bodies that's a key driver of pretty much every major age-related disease. The goal here isn't restriction, it's actually abundance. It means loading your plate with all kinds of colorful plant-based foods and healthy fats like olive oil while just dialing back on the processed stuff and sugars that fuel that inflammation. You know, the world's longest-lived women in Okinawa, Japan, they have this brilliant little trick. Before every single meal, they say this 2,500-year-old mantra, Hara Hachi Bu. It's just a reminder to stop eating when they feel about 80% full. That little gap between no longer being hungry and actually feeling stuffed, that can be the secret to maintaining a healthy weight your entire life.
Now, beyond what's on our plate, timing is absolutely critical. Our bodies run on these internal 24-hour clocks. You've probably heard of them. They're called circadian rhythms. And when we eat, can either sync up our systems beautifully or throw them completely out of whack. And here is a super powerful, simple action you can take. Try to eat breakfast within 1 to 2 hours of waking up. Why? Because it helps sync your metabolism with your internal clock. In fact, one massive study found that people who consistently delayed breakfast had a higher risk of chronic disease and even early death. That first meal really does set the pace for your entire day. Okay, let's move on to our next pillar and see how this all connects. It's all about how and why we move. And I'll tell you what, you might be surprised to learn that the world's longevity all-stars, they are not running marathons.
Instead, they practice something called moving naturally. They don't really exercise. They just live in environments that constantly nudge them into movement. They walk everywhere, they grow gardens, they do their own house and yard work by hand. It's this constant, low-intensity activity that's just woven right into the fabric of their day.
Now, if you do prefer more structured exercise, the timing might actually play a role. Take a look at this chart from a huge study of over 92,000 people. It shows that, yeah, exercise is good any time of day, but look at that middle bar. That represents midday to afternoon workouts, and it's linked to the lowest risk of both all-cause and cardiovascular death. It's a really fascinating clue about working with our body's natural rhythms.
But maybe the most powerful way to stay active for life is to connect your movement to a sense of purpose. The Okinawans have a beautiful word for this, ikigai. It's your reason for being. It's that thing that gets you out of bed in the morning, excited for the day ahead. And this number just brilliantly illustrates why that matters so much. Having a strong sense of purpose, knowing your ikigai, that's estimated to be worth up to 7 extra years of life expectancy. Think about that. Purpose literally pulls you forward into a longer life. All right, the third pillar of our blueprint is all about learning to hit the pause button. In our crazy, fast-paced world, the simple arts of rest and recovery are more critical than ever if you want to live a long, healthy life. And it all starts with sleep. Good sleep hygiene isn't about complicated rules. It's just about consistency. It means creating a simple rhythm, a consistent bedtime and wake-up time, avoiding stimulants like caffeine late in the day, and, this is a big one, teaching your brain that your bed is for sleep, not for scrolling on your phone. And beyond sleep, the world's longest-lived people have these little daily rituals to manage stress. It's a practice they call downshifting. For some people, it's a nap.
For others, it might be prayer or meditation, and for some, it's a happy hour with friends. The specific thing doesn't matter as much as having a built-in, daily routine to shed the pressures of the day. So why is managing stress so darn important? Well, it really comes down to our biology. At the very ends of our chromosomes, we have these tiny protective caps called telomeres. Think of them like the little plastic tips on your shoelaces. They naturally get shorter as we age, but chronic stress can actually speed up that whole process.
So the big question is, can we protect them? This is where the research gets really exciting. Early but really compelling studies are suggesting that stress-reducing practices like meditation can actually help preserve the length of our telomeres. It's a powerful clue that our mental state has a direct impact on how we age at a cellular level. And that brings us to our final and, arguably the most important pillar of the longevity blueprint, the profound power of human connection.
Okay, first we need to clarify a really crucial difference here. Social isolation is the objective fact of having few social contacts. But loneliness, that's the subjective feeling of being disconnected. You can be in a crowded room and still feel profoundly alone.
And that feeling of loneliness has staggering health consequences. Research shows it can increase your risk of dying early by 26%. To put that into perspective, that is as dangerous to your health as smoking 15 cigarettes a day. It's a huge deal.
So how do the world's healthiest people solve this problem? They intentionally build what's called the right tribe. In Okinawa, for instance, they create moais. These are small groups of friends who literally commit to supporting each other for life. It's a built-in social safety net that's there for them through all of life's ups and downs.
So there you have it, the longevity blueprint. 4 simple but incredibly powerful pillars. How you fuel your body with an anti-inflammatory diet. How you move naturally with purpose. How you recharge your system with rest and stress management. And how you connect with your tribe. Each one builds on the others to create this amazing foundation for a long, healthy, and happy life. Look, these are not giant, overwhelming changes. They're small, consistent actions that when you compound them over a lifetime can make a profound difference. So the only question left to ask is, what's the first small change you'll make to your blueprint?